Let's see, what will happen to people who die in the womb
Yeah.
or as babies?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. My impression is that they've never had a chance. The logic of where I would go with this is simply this. 1 Timothy 2:4 and 5 says, God wants everybody to be saved. I take the baby in the womb to be a person, self-evidently. If he wants them to be saved, he has to give them a chance to be saved. So here's where the wider hope comes in. The logic is very simple. I think you'll like it. God wants everybody to be saved and come to a knowledge of the truth. Patently, self-evidently, there have been trillions of human beings who've died without any possibility of learning the truth in Jesus. So what happens to them? They have their chance in the second resurrection, not a second chance. They can only be judged on what they could reasonably know. That's what Jesus said twice in John 15. You remember the text. If I had not come and told you, you wouldn't be guilty. But now that I've told you, you're guilty. That's a beautiful principle. What wonderful justice. The little old lady in Fiji, 2000, 3000 BC, has never heard of Jesus. She cannot be judged on that basis. She can only be judged on what she could reasonably know as right and wrong.
Yes.
Let God deal with them in the second resurrection. Why not? That's not universalism. We're not suggesting for a moment that everybody must get saved. That's not biblical. Those who've known the truth and do nothing with it and throw it away, they're in dire trouble. Trillions of them have never heard of the truth. Then I suggest that second resurrection will be the time when God will deal with those trillions upon trillions of human beings.
I believe many Unitarians and maybe mainstream Christians don't hold to this wider hope. I was thinking about, in particular, as you know, Christadelphians hold to a limited or partial resurrection, cancel out a wider hope scheme.
Well, that's
Is
a
that
very
right?
cruel God. The Christadelphians ought to read the text in Acts, which says that God is going to have a resurrection both of the just and the unjust, Paul said. That's not difficult. So don't limit God. Don't be so cruel as to consign all these dear people who've never heard of Jesus to a loss of salvation.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself. When would those people be given the chance? Not at the millennium, because the millennium, the first resurrection is only the church. You said only at the second resurrection,
Yes,
I
of
guess.
course.
Right.
Must be logically, it has to follow that if God wants everybody to be saved, and patently, lots and lots of people have never had a chance to be saved, they can only be judged on what they could reasonably know. And therefore, there must be a probation of some sort. How that works, I don't know, in the second resurrection. I love the logic of that. I think it's absolutely unchallengeable.